Hello and welcome. It's a good day to be on the farm. My name is Chuck, and this is my Shepherd Chuck series, I believe episode 12. And in today's episode, we're going to pick up the rest of the silage bales, or grass bales that will eventually ferment into silage bales, with our Massey Ferguson here and our little trailer that holds 6. We're going to go stack those up by the other ones and then continue to work on gathering more silage for us to sell in hopes to make a little bit of cash here in the end of the summer. Probably, let's see, it's May now. August, I would guess, has been when we'll be able to sell these. So, and as you can see, kind of off in the distance, there is silage bales that we have been storing up for a while that we'll get to sell at some point. So things are going well. So we'll drive over here and drop these off. I do have 2 left over from the last time, as you can see there to the right in the green wrap. But as we discussed in the last episode, I ended up having to buy some new wrap, and I changed it to the white. So we've got the big marshmallows now for silage. And if I looked at the counter right, I think we had 18. So 3 loads of 6. So that's why I didn't pick up those other 2 green bales and stack them with. Sometimes if I have odd numbers, I'll try to, make the stacks line up better than the other, rather than focusing on like what batch of silage or season of silage we're in. This batch, obviously, since it's going to be 3 full stacks, I decided, I think, to just put them all together so that they could all ferment together and we'd pick them up together in the future. But it also means that when I'm taking these up to sell them, we're going to have one extra trip with some odd ones, or maybe we'll sell some hay with those last 2 green wrap ones. We'll see, depending on how we're doing. But overall, I think things are progressing well. This is, I believe, year 3 for this playthrough. It kind of all blends together, to be honest, when all you're doing is grass, because normally there's like, I can count the harvests, like if we're doing wheat or barley or something like that, I'll know how many harvests we've done, and that'll tell me how many years we've done, since we can do, I think, 3 full cuts and wraps a year if we really managed it well. I think we've been doing about 2 because I was busy plowing and planting another grass field, or I was just more focused on the wool production and getting that stuff over to the spinnery to turn it into fabric, that I maybe missed a month when I should have cut. So I think we're only actually going to get, I think we only got 2 last year. But given that it's May now, we should be ready to cut again in July. And then, or August, and then maybe October. I don't know if it grows into November. See, this is where it's like, I think we have time, but I'm not entirely sure. So anyway, this is just wrapping up May from the last episode. I just wanted to get those picked up and show you how many we got off that field that you saw me starting to cut. And we're going to go ahead and sleep and get to the next day so we can check in on our sheep and we can see when the next generation of sheep will come. Because that's the other thing that we're doing, is starting to reclaim some of the value from the original sheep that we bought. But as you can see, we're losing a little over $1,000 every month just for upkeep costs and interest on our loan, which is fine. We needed that to get started. But now that we have a 4th generation of sheep here, and again, we're at capacity, so we have to keep making room when we do have extra sheep, so that when the next generation goes and produces babies, we have room to accommodate them, because that's free money. I kind of think of it, and I don't know if this is a great comparison or not, but I kind of think of it like a retirement account, because I'm a nerd. But, in your retirement account, if you put in so much, a lot of times you'll get a match from your employer, and that match is basically free money. Sometimes you have to be vested or stay for a number of years or meet some other requirement to get that match, or it's not always a straight 1-for-1. but you know what I mean. Basically, if you're doing X, then you can also get Y for free, which in this case would be the sheep that would normally generate. If we don't make room for them in our pasture, like we're doing now, you actually are just losing that money because you're not getting your match. that's probably a terrible way to put it, but that's the way I've been thinking about it. So we need to transfer, I think 4, I think is what we're going to settle on here. And we'll put 4 into the trailer. And let me see if we can see them in there. Yep. Yeah, they're up there. So we'll go ahead and drive these up and get them sold. And that should leave room for the next generation of, I believe, 13 that will come next time. But again, the math is getting a little weird now because it was 13 of the one kind and 13 of the other kind, and then we had 26, and then they both had babies, so we had 52, and then they had a third generation, and then suddenly we were almost at capacity, so we started selling down. So the last round from the first generation only produced 4 free sheep, and now because we produce those 4, we don't have room for the next crop of lambs, so we're selling these 4, not the 4 babies, but the 4 older ones to make room. So I don't know, there's probably an easier way to do this, but we need cash. So I'll do whatever I need to do to kind of keep that balance sheet flowing, and I think this is a reasonable way to do that. So but regardless, it's a good little payday to sell off some of the sheep. I think we'll get, a little over $2,000, but probably not 3 to 4. And that will help us get through another month. And then once that silage starts becoming fermented and ready to sell, then we're going to start actually making some progress where we can start paying some things off. So overall, I think that it's progressing well. It really has kind of slowed down though, because we're just literally making silage and like cutting the grass, windrowing it, wrapping it, storing it, hauling it, and doing the kind of same things over. So unfortunately, we don't have much else in the way of like an ability to go to an arable crop at this point, because that's just not kind of how the setup is for us. Anyway, let's see what we've got here. So if we go down to sell and we tab it up to 3.4, yep, 2,400. So about what I said. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and drive back, but I think I'm going to cut the video here, and then we're going to get busy with some windrowing. Well, we're going to cut some grass on the other field and then get busy windrowing. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, so small jump in the video there, but we've got our windrower ready. I've got the worker in the Zetter mowing field number 2, our very weirdly shaped field that you can see on the screen right now. And we're going to go ahead and set this up to windrow. And so I'm going to manually windrow while the Zetter finishes mowing this section. And I'm trying something a little bit different here. So I've got this on ×2 speed. You might notice it's going a little bit faster than it normally does, but it still feels like you can see what's going on. Like I didn't want to go ×4. I thought that might be too much for the turns and stuff that we're making in here, but I think ×2 is fine. So yeah, this one is, it's interesting when you windrow. This is only the second time I've done it. But I'm trying to get used to, I think it's almost easier to do like a figure 8. So that's kind of why I went straight through that part. And then we're going to just kind of cut across here and do the outside lap. But we'll still do the ups and downs like normal. And we'll actually skip a row on the ends. As you can see just to the left of this windrow, we're not getting that section. But I believe on the lines, it wants us to go back and take our outline and windrow it into that next row, which I don't think is necessary. So anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about the audio quality on some of my videos lately. So I've been going back and like kind of listening into some of them, and I'm still struggling to get the balance correct between the microphone and the PS5. And I don't know if I mentioned it or not. I may have. I ended up getting a new PS5 over Christmas because I got a great sale on Black Friday. And for whatever reason, I just cannot get it to match what the recording settings that I had on my old one. And I don't know what I'm missing. I've checked the audio settings of the PS5 itself. I've checked the in-game settings inside Farm Simulator. I've checked the microphone settings. I've played around with the little dials on my microphone. It just doesn't record at the same volume that it did on the other PS5 when I'm recording while I'm playing the game. But right now, what I'm doing to remedy that is voicing over footage of me playing. So this is basically, I recorded this, which is why I can do it at ×2 speed. Obviously, I can't play at ×2 speed and talk normal. So I recorded this basically just with no microphone, and then I'm back in the editor and just recording over or voicing over the footage. And I think the audio sounds a lot better this way, but it does add a whole nother step to producing the videos, which I'm just trying to figure out the best and easiest way to keep content coming out timely. So there's been a little bit of delay in producing my episodes because I'm having to voice them over now to get the audio quality that I want. I'm still playing around with the microphone and adjusting some things, and there's got to be it's the same equipment. Like, I didn't go to a PS5 Pro or anything. I just got a second PS5. This time it's a digital one instead of the one that has the disc drive, but I can't imagine that has anything to do with the audio quality. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I've literally went onto the old PS5 and screen capped all of the audio setting screens and then tried to mimic those here on this one, and there must be something I'm missing somewhere. So I don't know. I guess let me know if this sounds better than the last couple episodes did, where I voiced it while I was playing it, or if you can't really notice a difference, because if it's not really noticeable, then it's a lot of extra work that I probably don't need to do, because then I can make videos quicker. But just a little inside baseball as we're kind of trying to wrap up this episode is just kind of I'm playing with some of those things. And also, I know you can hear like the engine revving now from the Zetter, because it's at ×2 speed. That is a higher pitch than it normally would be. I like to have a little bit of background noise when I voice things over, because I think me just talking in silence just sounds weird. I expect to hear a little bit of the tractor. I expect to hear a little bit of the windrower or the mower. There are some things that sound terrible when you speed them up, like a chainsaw, and the mower actually doesn't sound great. But the cultivator sounds okay. I don't know. I'm playing around with it. But so I don't know. Normally I wouldn't. Normally when I do a time lapse, I just mute the audio from that time lapse completely and then play music. So this is another kind of new experiment, is voicing over a time lapse, but not a fast time lapse. Because if I did this at ×4, ×8, it would be very high pitched and very noticeable. But at ×2, it's not terrible, I don't think. But you'll have to tell me. So I guess I'm asking for input on the audio quality of this episode and to see how it feels. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm kind of backing down to one Shepherd Chuck a week is kind of my goal, based on how everything's going. And then I'm supplementing that with a couple of other types of videos. Number one, you've probably seen my survival challenge from FS22. I had eight or 9 episodes banked of that from, I don't know, like a year ago or more, that I just never produced and got out. So what I'm doing is kind of using those as filler videos, because it's taking me longer to make these Shepherd Chuck videos. So that's why those are coming out, alternating with this. But I also have a couple of other videos in the works that I'm pretty excited about. I've been doing some Farm Sim speedrun challenges, for lack of a better term. If if you remember, like 3 years ago, I did a cake percent speed run and posted it, and like nobody watched it, and my time was terrible, so it wasn't even worth submitting. But I've done that again, but in FS25, and I'm actually pretty proud of the time. But it took me 8 or 9 tries, so I've got a couple of those that I might put up as well. But anyway, that's it. Just wanted to check in, see how it was going, and get an episode out. So hope you guys have a great day, and I will catch you all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and give it a thumbs up if you liked it. And also let me know about the audio, because I'm curious. All right, take care. Bye-bye.